Hello, happiness abounder, and welcome back. So excited to be back here at the beginning of a new week, and I want to thank you for your patience as I took last week off from podcasting due to traveling for work. But I am back and happy to be here and happy to continue our discussion all about curbing our addictions to our phones. Now, if you listen to the other episodes in this series, keep in mind they're every 5 episodes is a new theme week. But if you've listened to the other episodes of this series, you will know that we've spoken about a few quick hacks that you can do on your phone. That was episode 446. We've spoken about how you can integrate phone usage or no phone usage in and out of your daily routine, specifically morning and night, because that tends to be the times that we get caught up on our phones the most. And then episode 48 was how we can reconnect, whether that's through journaling, getting outside, playing games, things like that that are reconnecting to the external world versus connecting via our phone. But today I want to talk about what I think is equally important to all of those things, which is our feelings. You knew this was going to come up. It's a happiness podcast, and happiness is feeling. So, how do you feel when you get on your phone? Now, this is kind of a double-edged sword because we know that a lot of us have addictions to our phones because we're getting those hits of endorphins when we get a like, when we get a comment, when we see that someone is appreciating what we're putting out online. However, that is more of a chemical feeling, but I want you to look at why you may be on your phone. Now, if it's catching up for business and things like that, sure. But let's say that you get on your phone and you have a huge amount of work to do today. And in the morning you wake up, you know you have a ton of work to do, so you get on your phone and you scroll on Facebook, you look on Reddit, you get on Pinterest, you get on Instagram, you start playing a game, whatever it is that you do on your phone that is not necessarily helping you, but hindering you. Ask yourself why. You know you have a ton to do, and now because you've played games on your phone or whatever it is, you may be running late. So that adds more stress to your day. Well, in that instance, I would say that being on your phone is a form of procrastination. It makes you feel uncomfortable to think about all the things you have to do in the day, so you try to postpone it, to procrastinate from doing it just a little bit longer, and your phone is the perfect resource to do that. But here's the thing. You do it because you're procrastinating and it's right there and it's kind of part of that habit already. You feel uncomfortable, so you want to numb out, look on your phone instead. But then you're running late. Now you have more stress to your day. And you're like, I can't do all of that. I'm just going to do 3 things. And oh my gosh, it was such an overwhelming day and I was so tired and just all these things happened. And you've set yourself up to have an ineffective or inefficient day. And you've set yourself up mentally and emotionally to have that kind of day. Purely from getting on your phone first thing in the morning because you're uncomfortable about the amount of things you need to accomplish. You get where I'm going with this? 9 times out of 10, when we get on our phone and we start doing that ever scroll, is because we want to numb out from the emotions we're feeling. Now, on the back end of that, maybe you had a rough day at work, and so you come home, you sit on the couch, and you just want to zone out. You don't want to have to think about the people who are your direct reports. You don't want to think about keeping that client happy. You don't want to think about those expense reports you have to do. You just want to zone out for a minute. So maybe you get on your phone and you start scrolling. And 2 hours go by and you're like, I had all these personal things I need to do. I was so overwhelmed from work and so uncomfortable with those feelings that I didn't get them done. And then you kind of beat yourself up and you feel guilty. And then what happens? Those feelings are uncomfortable. So what do? Get back on your phone. It's this vicious cycle of feeling uncomfortable, wanting to procrastinate from feeling those negative feelings. And so we want to buffer them. And one of the ways we do that is to ever scroll on our phone. Now let's pair that with I'm getting a nice little jolt of dopamine or joy or happiness, whatever you want to call it, every time I get a notification, every time someone comments back to me. So it's this nice little, I don't have to deal with my real life, and I'm getting little hits over here. So that leads to the addiction. And I'm going to say a very bold statement right now. That is not very much different than, I'm going to say, let's say drug use. It's a form of escape from your everyday life, from the negative feelings or the feelings you don't want to feel that make you feel uncomfortable, and it gives you a nice little hit of alternative reality. I know, oh man, some of you went nope and just turned off the podcast, and some of you are like, oh, I want to turn off this podcast because you're so uncomfortable with that statement. I know. Here's the thing, is we can be addicted to our phones just as easily as someone else could be addicted to drugs or alcohol or TV. We all have these little vices, and maybe drug use isn't little, I don't know, but we all have vices. We all have these things that we do to procrastinate from feeling uncomfortable. And our phone is a ready-made tool to help us in doing that. Now, I'm not saying shut your phone off entirely, do all that stuff. No, this is not what this is about. It's not me telling you how to live your life, but it's me telling you and sharing with you that if you feel like you want to be more present, you want to be more focused, you want to be more emotionally managed, you want something a little bit more, and you keep on finding that you're spending hours at a time on your phone, consider what emotions, what situations, what things are you procrastinating against and avoiding because they make you feel uncomfortable. And then consciously make those decisions of, I'm going to put my phone over here. I'm going to go work on this thing that makes me uncomfortable and I know is hard. When I'm done, maybe I can get on my phone. Or you might find another reward of some sort. But really pay attention. Really dive in to what it is you may be avoiding when you get on your phone. Now I'm going to go a step further because I'm talking about work, right? I'm talking about things in your business or whatever that may be that feels pretty external. What if you want to avoid an uncomfortable conversation with your partner? What if you want to avoid having to play with the kids for just 5 minutes, but then that 5 minutes turns into an hour? What does all that look like? Knowing how much time you spend on your phone, knowing the emotions and the things that you're trying to avoid by being on your phone, that's a level and a foundation of awareness. And from there, you can more consciously make your decisions to move forward. You can decide if you want to stay on your phone. You can decide if you want to implement some of those hacks from episode 446. Do you turn your phone to black and white? So when you do pick it up out of habit because you're uncomfortable and you're not consciously connecting all those dots anymore, pick it up out of habit, it's black and white, and that triggers you to go, wait a minute, what's wrong with my phone? Oh, I changed it to black and white because I didn't want to be on it. I'm going to turn it off. Other thing with black and white, it's really hard to scroll through Instagram. It's not as exciting. So there's things that you can do, listen to episode 446, that can separate you from your phone so that you don't use it as a form of procrastination to hide from those uncomfortable feelings or situations. But we have to be aware that that may be what is triggering our excessive phone use. Maybe it's not quite an addiction, but maybe it feels a little more excessive than you would like it to be. So I'm going to leave you with that thought and that action item today. I'm going to leave you with this idea of monitoring, paying attention to how you feel. And in most cases, it's going to be some emotion that you are uncomfortable with, and how you may be using your phone to procrastinate from feeling and dealing with those emotions or situations. Just start paying attention to that. Big project due, uncomfortable conversation to be had, creating a form for your business, playing with your kids if you have a lot of other things to do, but that is on your to-do list. I don't know what that looks like for your life, but start paying attention to when you pick up your phone and how you feel when you do it. I know for me, when I have an uncomfortable project at work, I always, every 5 seconds where I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing, I want to pick up my phone. And I know that means I'm uncomfortable and I need to find a way to power through. So I'm going to leave you with that today. I hope that this episode resonated with you. If it did, please let me know. I would love to hear from you. And if you like this episode, rate, review, and subscribe on your podcast platform listening of choice. So that said, have a wonderful day. Take a look at your phone usage. And above everything else, remember, you are capable of happiness abound.